Hello, and welcome to a second episode of both Bird's Eye View and Common Nonsense. This, I guess, is kind of a crossover episode. What you see is a still from the movie Liar Liar starring Jim Carrey, entitled State of the Union, ? Because this is, in my head, this is kind of how I picture politicians and lawmakers. So, this blog post is entitled, Both Parties Are Too Big for Their Britches and They Both Suck. Yes, I'm very erudite in my writing skills. Completely unprompted by both hubby and I, we received new voters' cards in the mail. It's been a while since either one of us have registered. I know, gasp the horror. It's our civic duty, etc., etc. I just find the timing incredibly suspicious with this overturn of Roe v. Wade. And during Pride Month? The two may not be connected at all, but both are hotbed issues. And neither political party handles them well. Both use them to push agendas that divide us. This is precisely why I think both parties suck. Here in Michigan, there is a 1931 law in the books that was rendered moot by Roe v. Wade, which could very well be triggered. There is a petition to put it to vote in November, sponsored by the ACLU, which I attempted to sign. Although providing your cell number is optional, getting text messages is not, so my signature wouldn't go through. I don't think it did anyway. I'm sorry, but I do not want the ACLU texting me. I find them abhorrent since they conspired with Amber Heard to accuse Johnny Depp of horrific things. Johnny Depp prevailed in a Virginia court of law that found that his ex-wife Amber Heard defamed him. To be honest, I've been suspicious of the ACLU for a while now. This was simply the nail in the coffin for me. And I think they're also too big for their britches. When is Amber going to be removed as a, whatever it is she is with the ACLU? Ambassador? Not a good look. Hey, don't stunt people's growth. Jumping through hoops to get something so basic on the ballot is infuriating, especially when it's about such an archaic law that it's laughable. The issue itself is so incredibly delicate and should be intensely personal. I honestly don't believe anybody else should be able to impinge on my bodily autonomy. Period and end of. I also don't like the federal government being in control of things that should be my private business. So, in a way, I'm kind of glad the reins have been given back to the states. Unless you live in a puritanical state like, let's say, Texas. As a parent, I understand that we raise our children the best that we can. Then we have to let go and hope they do okay. I have faith in my son. I think our government should treat us the same way, whether it's federal, state, county, etc. For the most part, I believe people will do the right thing. We're allowed to make mistakes. That's how we learn and grow. Trying to control people stunts their growth, in my opinion. So the next is love is love. My mama always said she didn't care what people did as long as they didn't, quote, do it in the streets to scare the horses. As long as people are happy, I honestly don't care who they choose to love or how they love. And it should never be dictated by law. This idea is so Orwellian it makes me shudder. You are, of course, allowed your own opinions. Just don't push them onto others. The only caveat I have is in regard to minors. Minors cannot consent, so keep your mitts off them. Neither can animals, but let's not go there, okay? I realize that religion plays heavily into this issue. Again, don't push that on others. My God doesn't care who I love. They just want me to be happy. And that's what I want for others also. If you're happy, I'm thrilled. Happiness spreads faster than fear. Not that you'd read it in the news. Fear and pain get clicks. Don't do that. It just feeds the beast. Why can't we all just get along? I realize that I'm probably triggering a lot of conservatives. For that, I apologize. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, this dates back to Rodney King and the riots in Los Angeles, California, circa 1992. Making light of a tragic situation is what I do best. Better living through silliness is my motto. Every year, my family used to watch the Ten Commandments for Easter. One year, as the movie reached its crescendo, I quoted Mr. King, "Why can't we all just get along?" And my dad burst into full blown laughter. I love to make my father laugh. It helped negate the times he was a complete asshat. I realize that I've now dipped a toe, tipped a toe, dipped a toe in another hotbed issue. However, I believe all issues can be improved through education and awareness. Oh, and humor. Humor helps. And rooting out corruption. Which leads me right back to the whole idea that both parties suck. It's difficult to root out bad seeds when they're the ones with all the money. Bill Gates is currently buying up buttloads of U.S. farmland. According to the Reuters fact-check team, quote, while Gates does not own the majority of U.S. farmland, he is the largest private farmland owner according to the land report. Between that and the housing crisis, what I'm seeing sort of proves my point. The wealthy elite own us and run not only our government, but the entire world. On the plus side, we outnumber them. Apathy versus indifference. As I mentioned above, a voter's registration card spontaneously appeared in my mailbox. I am personally apolitical because I do not trust or like our two big political parties, in case you couldn't already tell. Pundits talk about voter apathy like it's all our fault. I think it's more that we feel the indifference from our government, and that makes us want to throw up our hands. They want us to sit down, shut up, and do as we're told. And they use mainstream/legacy media to inform us of that. I personally like the name dinosaur media. Not long ago, I watched a UN meeting regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. Putin presented a bunch of documents to support his claims, while the US and UK, among others, pointed at the news as proof. I'm not sure whether to be amused or horrified. Our government thinks we're idiots. So do both political parties in the aforementioned news. We saw how wrong said news reported on the Depp v. Heard trial, and how irate some reporters were regarding folks commenting on the trial via YouTube. One of these reporters, Kayla Lorenz, was called out at VidCon, which is highly amusing. I will put a link to that video in the description because it is pretty funny. I'm not sure what VidCon is, but it's so funny. People are waking up, which is glorious to see. USA Today had to take down 23 articles because a reporter named Gabriela Miranda fabricated sources. Chloe Melas of CNN outright lied about hashtag Free Britney. And here is a link. Actually, that links to a blog post. But there's a video about it on a YouTube channel called That Surprise Witness. And if I remember, I'll put a link to that too. As well as Morgan Freeman. Yes, there is a change.org petition because Melas outright lied about him too. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. If you like what I have to say, consider clicking on ads within my blog, obviously. Following and or tipping me via my link tree. Another link I'll put in the description. Thanks so much for listening. Much peace and love to you all.